Good afternoon to all of you. Following the way that how in Warsaw you created the Tinder of fintechs, I think this presentation is not about that. Because I came from a traditional country and representing a traditional bank, which is the Raiffeisen, who some people can say that we are not only traditional and old-fashioned, but sometimes we are bureaucratic. Maybe it's all true. But what I would like to show you is a different approach how we are dealing with fintechs. So who we are, we have almost 70 million customers in the region, representing in 14 markets. And among the 17 million, the important thing is that we almost have 1 million SME customers in the region. That's the reason why we are here on this SME conference. And even we as a traditional bank recognized that our core banking business is beaten up by different challengers, not only challenger banks, but small, tiny startups, till big corporations. And each part of where we are represented is beaten up by somebody. Revolut was already mentioned, but once we are entering the SME universe, Cabbage, Spotcap, Funding Circle, even Moxtra, and a lot of platforms, lending platforms, and even players in the whole process where we are representing is kicking us and it's beating us. So we recognize that we have, let's say, two ways of answering this challenge. The first way that we recognize is what ING is doing, and the second one is what Revolut is doing. In terms of ING, they are integrating different offerings of different startups and fintechs, and they are selling these solutions and services under their name, under their platform. Revolut is doing something different because they are partnering up with the other fintechs in terms of doing mortgages, etc. So the message here that we are not decided what to do. We are not in that phase. The whole journey which we started was dated to 2017. In 2017 we called fintechs to join us. We created a kind of elevator lab, an incubation lab, where we offer to these customers and these small startups that please come to us. Let's have a common virtual program with one monthly visit in Vienna, end of that a demo day. We are providing you the following. We are providing you expert mentoring in each terms of the banking business. And even we are offering our 17 million customer base, if you are matured enough and if you are fancy and structured enough to partner with us. If the partnership is a real partnering, is it a common contract or is it a white labeling solution, it doesn't matter, it's still not decided, but please come to us and then we will dedicate you funds, we will give you expertise, and based on that, let's see what we'll figure out. We got 8 startups as the starting point. End of the day, we only had 5 with whom the real cooperation started. Why this happened? Because there was a selection process from the pre-filtering till the real, let's put it this way, contracting of the joint work. But even with the joint work, just an example, there was a company coming from the US. He really wanted to partner with us, but even it figured out that Raiffeisen with this 17 million customers was simply not big enough for them. They got an offer from Apple, and then the small startup simply decided that they are leaving the region and they started to partnering with Apple. So we learned our lessons that even with 14 markets you are not big enough to, or even you are not sexy and fancy enough to cooperate with you. But at the end of the story, we got these 5 companies who entered into the elevator lab, into the 16 weeks of journey. And as you can see, we got some learnings, we got some successes, and we are still with some of the companies, we are in the learning mode. I know that the presentation is mostly about that how you cooperate and work together with fintechs, but I really would like to smuggle in some more details in terms of the SME approach. So I really would like to highlight one cooperation. I was the lucky one who was the personal mentor of this company. So this is 2 or 3 guys, really, really young ones coming from Sweden. And what they do cash flow prediction and cash flow visualization. But before I'm entering into that, I really would like to raise a question that you are SME representatives here. Do you think that beyond banking services in the next coming 2 years are important, which the bank should provide to their customers, or we have to do the core banking business and that's it? In an efficient way, of course, but do we have to do something beyond banking service or not? I would vote for the yes. And who else? Yes. On the left side, yes. Here people are a bit more skeptical. Okay, so this presentation goes to those ones who voted yes. Okay, so going back to Asteria, young people coming from Sweden, completely different environment what we have in CEE, because in their country almost everything is digital, and the data and even the transactional data is already opened up, so it's easy for them to capture it digitally. What they are capturing the banking accounts, and they are capturing the accounting softwares because they have the direct connection to that. And based on their magical algorithms, they really can provide you showing the cash flow from the previous periods. And these guys created the kind of algorithm which is predicting the cash flow for the future. So that was the idea, that we as a bank, after the PSD2 era, we really should group, and then with the open up transactions, we really have to aggregate, we really have to show it to the customers, we really have to really easily get the SME owners to understand how their cash flow is flowing, where they have the gaps, and of course we really would like to offer some financing product offers in the negative cash flow periods. Not to be so, let's say, theoretical, we picked up 2 countries. Hungary is the first one and Belarus was the second one, where we really tested the solution. And why these 2 countries? And this is the core SME, so let's go a bit deep and let's learn a bit together. So in terms of Hungary, you can see that the accounting software market is completely fragmented. There are a lot of players, 20, 30 of them. Belarus and the CIS markets, Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, one player is covering 80% of the whole market. Meaning it was easy to build the connection with that accounting software, and they get all the data which is needed. In terms of Belarus, they could do it online. In terms of Hungary, the customer should upload, going back 2 years of monthly account statements, which is a no-go. Yes, you are moving your head in that way. Yes, this was the learning, that with online connections you can do a lot, without online you are lost. And based on some researches, we could say that in each of the countries, the customers, the SME customers, are ready to pay for some value-adding services. And this is why I raised the question that their customers, they really need help in terms of understanding and managing their cash flows. And once you are doing it in the right way and in an easy way, they are really, really open for paying for that. In terms of the predictive power of those young guys' algorithm, we could say that if you have 2 types of data source, the banking data and the accounting data, then the prediction power is quite okay. With the banking data only, you are lost because the service that you are providing to your customers is not robust enough, is not strong enough. So these were the learnings. But once we entered into Hungary and into Belarus, it figured out that they have a nice idea, but they have no capacity to manage it. Especially no capacity to entering into those countries where who are not speaking Swedish, let's put it this way. So entering into new markets with 2 people only, if the idea is perfect, you are still not matured enough, since you still do not have the capacity to cover everything. And even with a strong partner, which, let's put it this way, Raiffeisen would be in that case a strong partner offering this 1 million customers, but even they were simply not matured enough to be able to scale up. So you can have nice ideas, you can have this Tinder thing, and then if somebody looks sexy and fancy, it's a good thing. But offering your customer base to a partner, they really have to be a bit more matured than having the idea only. The other angle of this picture, a matured company coming from Austria, offering know your customer solutions within the whole region. End of the 16 weeks, there was a contract signed. So these one who know and process know your customer and capturing company registered data every part of Europe, they were ready to being partnered. So we already signed a contract, and this is the company which is providing for us now the company register entry digitally. They are the ones who are doing digital know your customer for us. Another example which is in the go or no-go zone, this is Moxtra. They are doing a collaboration solution for customer support. With your smartphones, you can do immediately a lot of things, chatting, calling, showing the picture, capturing the picture. So it's very, very easy for call centers, for remote relationship managers to communicate with the customers. Here we are still running the proof of concept. We picked up Czech Republic, and we are testing the solution there. Again, solution or partnership is not decided, but at least we could test, because this company, again, was so matured that we could partner with them, and we really could start a real proof of concept. So I think the big learnings for us were the following, that the strategic fit should be there, because here we heard a lot of ideas that what you were managing here in Warsaw in this hub. In terms of the banking, I think we really should focus on the banking services still. I think one of the learning was following, there always has to be a hosting country. If you are doing, we are kind of, in the SME world, we are not operating in Austria. Although our headquarters is located in Vienna, but we are not doing SME business in Austria. So we always need, for each of the ideas, we need a hosting country. If the hosting country is not committed to the topic, or if the hosting country was not part of the pre-selection process, then it's easy to sell the topic or the idea to them. So we really had to learn that we, in a very, very early stage, we have to onboard all network banks, not only to play as the mother bank and then force things to them which they do not want. Serious research and agility on the bank side is needed, that's a key. And even the elevator lab as such should be more strongly positioned. I will tell you a bit later numbers that what we learned for the second round. The second round started in that way that it was not a head office initiative anymore, but even the local banks run their local elevator labs, meaning pre-selection of local startups and fintechs. And these winners of the local rounds were simply catapulted to the Viennese one, to the big one. So country onboarding happened in a much, much earlier stage. And even the winners could have the chance to be part of the group solution. This is, I think it's not so important, so how we manage these 16 weeks and the end, and how we manage the pre-selection criteria. So this is the local challenge, this is the head office challenge, and end of the day, the local winners go up to the head office one. Numbers. So in the first round, from the CEE region, we had 91 applicants. For the second round, which was managed in 2018, we already had 171, so the applications almost doubled. We started with 400 something companies. We were focusing on those, let's say, topics from the open banking till the corporate, RegTech, new branch experience. So not only lending focus, not only remote identification focus, but really would like to cover the whole banking industry. We got these applicants, mostly from Russia, Bulgaria, and Romania, but there were other countries. I think one is represented even here in the room, who will have presentation, or you will have a chance to see him what they are offering. But really we wanted to get them and to promote them. And our winners in this round are these companies covering a lot of things. PayK is highlighted because he won, I think, the Slovak competition locally. This is why he could come up to the Viennese one. And again, 16 weeks of common working starts again. End of February we will have the demo day, which is a nice presentation on a huge show on a stage, where they can show the proof of concept which we done in the last 4 months. And most probably, with some of them, we will have a kind of cooperation, and we will have a chance to implement their service into our core banking offer. So this is it from my side, and I think questions will come later on. Thanks a lot for you.